What's up, everybody? It's your boy Hyperlink, and I gotta talk to you guys right now about. So the Avengers beta came out the other weekend, and I played it. I did the story modes. I did some of the missions that they had in there, and I can tell you guys, right? Like, you know, we cool de la, right? I can tell you, don't buy it. Garbo. Trash. So why am I saying this? Why am I telling you guys not to spend your money on this game? I'm gonna keep it simple for you guys. Fact of the matter is, it just doesn't feel like a good game. Not a game that you really want to spend your time in. And trust me, these people want your time because it's a live service game. They chose to create this game to be a live service game. They just had Marvel Spider-Man, and they saw this game. They could have told themselves, you know what? This is a game right here that we can follow down the steps of and deliver something in the vein of, but give it our flavor. But instead, they said, you know what? We put so much money into this game, all this money, time, and effort. So what we're going to do is try to milk this for every last dollar we could squeeze out of people. Because being a live service game, you know they're constantly going to add more and more things to the game. And that's not always a bad thing, right? Live service games, they can work to a certain extent, right? Like that's not really the problem here. The problem is how they're implementing the live service portions of this game, because they created this into a looter type of game. So that sounds kind of interesting, right? Like, oh, cool. I could get a new blaster for Iron Man. This is going to be awesome, right? But it's just numbers. That's all you get when you get gear. Just a number boost or a little stat difference or a resistance or something of that nature, but you don't get the other natural awesome thing when you get a new piece of loot. You don't get to see the loot on your character. So you get this, you're hyping, you're like, oh dude, I just got this whole thing. You put it on, there's no visual difference. Now I did hear if you have like exotic or legendary type of gear, that's something that it's either going to showcase in some type of way, but the fact is it's not all the gear. The majority of the gear that you see is not going to do anything to make your character visually look cooler or anything like that. And in a looter kind of game, that's one of the coolest things that you can get for your characters. Granted, Square Enix did respond to the fact of why they didn't want to go down that route, and it kind of makes sense, which is like, imagine Iron Man picking up different pieces of loot and all of it mismatching, and he's looking like a clown. And anybody who's played like MMOs or any of the looter type games, you start looking like a fool as you start building up all the pieces of your collection. So it would make sense that we don't want our heroes to look like fools. They went down this route of just adding the numbers. But why go down that route? And the only logical reason is because you wanted this to be a grindy game. You wanted to give people a reason to get more powerful so you could get past this other challenges, which it's not even fun. That's the thing about this game. Because here's the thing about it, and let me get back to the looter part of it. Part of what makes the looter games so fun and interesting, and I'll take for example Destiny. You get your different gear and those things, they unlock certain powers or whatever. Okay, cool. But when you get a different piece of gun, like a gun, it changes how you play the game. In this game, you're not changing your combat at all. The combat still stays the same. And the combat is so dull. It's just punch, 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 jump, avoid, punch, punch, punch. And granted, like taking Spider-Man for example, Spider-Man has a lot of that too, but because they were able to focus on one character, they can make the combat feel fluid, feel awesome, And this game's not doing that. This game does that to a degree, right? Because every time you get a new character, you want to see what square, punch, punch, punch does for the character, just to see it. But it's the same thing repetitive over and over and over. And there is a skill tree that you can start unlocking different moves or whatnot, but it doesn't essentially change what is the combat. And for this type of game, if you don't have that evolution, and I just came from playing Ghost of Tsushima right before this, and that did something special with fighting, changing the different stands as you go along. Hey, he got a shield, so let me go into fighting like with the shield, right? You know, you got the big brutes, you got the sword wielding guys, so they kept the combat fresh in that type of way. But games like that can do that because they're only focusing on one character. This game has the whole Avengers, and they're gonna keep adding more. And and it gets down to the point of making things balanced. And that's another thing I really disliked about this game. I played as the Hulk. The Hulk is smashing, doing all these kinds of things. Still think like these guys were lasting a little too long against the Hulk, but whatever. Then you get to play as Miss Marvel, and you play as her, and she feels just as powerful as the Hulk? How? And that's the thing, they all felt kind of the same, but a little different. But you do that because you want to balance your characters, because you don't want everybody just wanting to get one character, and it just doesn't feel right in what these characters are. Like they all vary in their power, right? The fact that you have Black Widow beating stuff up as efficiently as Steve Rogers, Captain America, there's something wrong there. One has superhero serum, the other's a trained assassin. There's still something completely off. The point here being is that it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good playing this game. After you spend about 10 minutes playing it, you already got the feel of how the combat is, and it doesn't really truly deviate in any meaningful ways. Going back to Spider-Man, I'm going to be doing a lot of Spider-Man comparisons because that was what we just got, Marvel Spider-Man. But here's another stark difference. In Spider-Man, you had kind of an open world Manhattan, and in that game, you got to traverse as Spider-Man, swinging all over the place, and it feels awesome. This game, getting from the moments to moments, is dull. There's nothing interesting to look at in these maps, and especially when you get to the multiplayer maps, it's just this giant open space of a random building or random thing here and there with literal platforming elements, which are just platforms that you have to kind of like jump into one of them, try not to fall off, and it sucks. And it's not like they traverse uniquely. They all kind of move the same except for Iron Man, because Iron Man could fly, and in this demo we didn't really get to play as Thor, so maybe Thor, you know, thrust his hammer, Mjolnir, take me to where you want to go. It misses so many points, and these little hub worlds that they create, it's not fun. It's not fun. And I can't believe that this is the game that we got. The Avengers, this should have been a great moment in history, right? We just had an amazing cinematic experience with a culmination of 10 years of filmmaking, getting the moment of all the Avengers going against Thanos, which is absolutely awesome. And then you see these bootleg Avengers over here, and all of a sudden you tell yourself, what the hell is this? What am I doing over here? And then when you play Marvel Spider-Man, you're like, this is pretty damn awesome. This is an awesome game. But there's another problem with the game right there. Spider-Man. Spider-Man is coming to this game. Yeah. Only for PlayStation. Now you've taken two platforms and you said, nah, son. It's only coming for PlayStation. Now, this is PlayStation spending this money in order to get this exclusive content. But in this day and age, exclusive content should not be a thing. If anything, maybe gated, maybe timed, maybe you do something like PlayStation, get Spider-Man for free. The other two platforms, you gotta pay maybe $20. Just some way that you can get that character into these other games. Now you got Xbox owners and PC owners that are going to be looking at their game thinking that they're missing something. And I'm telling you guys from experience, you might say, oh, well, it's only one character, it's not a big deal. When I played Destiny, and I luckily played it on PlayStation, we would get strikes and weapons for a whole year where Xbox people didn't get it. Those Xbox people were so salty for that whole time. And I would take that weapon, I would think, oh, this weapon is awesome. Because it was. You're telling me that you're going to be playing Spider-Man and not thinking Spider-Man is awesome, but only one category of people are going to be able to play Spider-Man? That's just wrong. So just on that basis alone, you as a gamer, you should be saying, we don't need these kind of practices. I'm not buying this game. But if that doesn't matter to you, if you were fine with or without Spider-Man anyways, you're going to buy it on Xbox or PC, I'm telling you guys just to stop. Don't do it. The game it's not what you want. From a live service perspective, they're just gonna try to milk you as much as possible. Each hero has battle passes. You got a battle pass for Miss Marvel, so you can unlock different outfits. Come on, man. We gotta be smarter than this as gamers. We spend real money on this, like real money on these things, especially during these times, pandemic times, which the money's not guaranteed where it's coming from at this day and age, right? You're spending your hard-earned cash, and these guys just want to take all your money, steal your time by making it a looter game when it so did not need to be a looter game. Follow what Spider-Man did. You could have just done it exactly like that, but instead you give us this game because you want to hook us. You want us to keep playing this game, so then that way when you're finished developing whatever way of making more money, we're hooked and we want the new content, and then you're just going to keep doing us dirty like this. Now, yes, many games follow this practice, but it's fun. Like, I want you guys to think for a second, if it was this game and it wasn't these characters that we know, do you think that it's gonna warrant, like from everything that you guys have seen, from what I'm telling you, is this something that you're gonna want to play? That's the hook. It's these characters. But taking that same logic, Spider-Man gave you an actual fun game in here. Spider-Man gave you a world of interesting things you could do. There was absolutely some repetitive things in there. I'm not gonna make it sound like it's a perfect game, but it was a fun game. This game right here, the fun comes when you hit those ults, those supers, all those type of things. But from that moment to the moment that you get to do that, just the punch, get rid of here, jump over here, and don't get me started on these aerial enemies that you have to try to jump and hit. That was a nightmare. That was just disgusting. Doesn't feel good. The camera's so bad. Listen, when you play the single player game, it's serviceable. You could kind of ignore it, and okay. And the reason I'm telling you that is that since the enemies can come from kind of wherever, I think the camera's a little too close. Like, it needed to pull back a little more so you can see a little more around you. But the big issue with the camera comes when you're doing online multiplayer, because at that point you're seeing all kinds of things, particle effects, everything flying all over the place, and you don't even know where to punch. You don't even know where to be actually attacking, where they're coming from, where they're shooting at you from. Like, you're just looking at this like, this sucks. So you're just punching and attacking everywhere and just hoping that you survive, and it is just a hot mess. Now, if you have a way of playing the beta and trying it, and you, I guess, formulating an opinion of your own, cool. But I'm telling you guys, I've been gaming for a really long time. If any of you guys are like me, that you see what's happening in the industry, and you see this, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. You're gonna feel where I'm coming from. This game is gonna sell like crazy. How could it not? It's the Avengers. But if I could stop one person from wasting their money on this and allowing them to do us dirty like this, that's worth it. Bro, we got games like Cyberpunk 2077 coming out very soon, that these developers, they believe in just loading this game up with everything that you need right in there, not nickel and diming you. And if Witcher 3 is an example, DLC is as big as other games that are out there, even more. So they believe in just giving you awesome content. This game reeks of corporate greed. I mean, I'm sure it's not cheap to get the Avengers license. So they got to find ways to monetize it and get back their development and licensing costs and all that. But does that matter to you? Does that matter to you as a gamer? I really hope it doesn't. And we're living in this age now where they're trying to take everything that they can out of us. So don't buy it. Don't buy it. There you guys have it. Leave your comments below and let me know if you're going to buy this game, if the things that you have seen are keeping you at keeping your pre-order. Do you think that this game should have been a live service? What do you think about Sony's platform being the only one to get Spider-Man? Let me know what you guys think below in the comments. And my name is Hyperlink. You guys can find me streaming on twitch.tv/hyper_link_TTV. And you guys can find me there, and then we can talk and let me know what you guys think. But that's it for this video. So until next time, y'all, keep doing what you guys do, and I'll see you guys around. We's out.